Hello, so I'm on day number 3 of my Daniel fast, and so far it's been really good. I feel strong, I feel confident, I feel like I can get through this 21 days without a problem. I haven't had any temptations or cravings really, and that's something that I thought would for sure happen. And I'm expecting it to happen still, but I'm just really focused on God and growing with Him and kind of seeing where He leads me through this, and really just opening my mind and my spirit to Him and trying to grow in that way through this. And honestly, I just really want to share with anyone who watches kind of that growth, to see, that your life's not just about what you look like, what you dress like, what you wear, what you do every day. It's your spirit, it's your mind, it's your soul. And those are all things that I feel very strongly about. And, because nobody really knows you, but you know yourself. And if you open your life to God, He will show you even more about yourself that you didn't even know. So today in my Daniel fast, it's called His Glorious Name. And basically it's just wanting you to acknowledge that Jesus paid the price for you, and His name is lasting forever. Everyone knows His name. Even people who don't believe know His name. They've heard of His name, Jesus. And the sad, unfortunate thing that I see all the time is that people believe in the devil. They believe in evil. They believe in hell, but they don't believe in Jesus. And the reason that that's so unfortunate and ironic is because the devil knows Jesus. The devil knows that Jesus is real. So the devil believes, and his ultimate goal is to make everyone non-believers. He wants everyone to not believe in Jesus. So by, saying like you believe in the devil, but I believe in a higher power, but not so much Jesus, he's winning you over. And so with this journey, I just want to share that with people. And I want to ultimately profess my love for Jesus and my thankfulness for Him, and kind of explain why I am the way I am, and in hopes that it has an impact on people and that they can see Jesus for what He truly is. So yeah, this is just talking about Jesus, and it goes into a story about Jacob. And Jacob was born from Isaac. So Isaac came from Abraham, which I told you guys about the first day. And Isaac had Esau and he had Jacob. So Esau's his firstborn. And in Israelite tradition, as with most traditions, the firstborn ultimately, they get the bigger blessing. They're kind of like the namesake. They are written in the will. They're kind of like the leader of their siblings. But in this story, as with a lot of stories, Jacob was maybe a little bit more put together than Esau. I don't really know, but God saw something in Jacob that He didn't see in Esau. He saw something that Jacob could ultimately bring to God. He could bring glory to God and do the will of God more so than Esau would. Esau may have looked more towards himself and given himself more of the glory, but he knew that Jacob ultimately would give God that glory. And so Jacob, the name Jacob actually means trickster. So trickster, and that comes from the story in Genesis, and I'm going to read it really quick. So Genesis 27. All right, so it says, "Now it came to pass when Isaac was old and his eyes were so dim that he could not see, that he called Esau his older son and said to him, 'My son.' And he answered him, Here I am. Then he said, Behold now, I am old, I do not know the day of my death. Now therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me. And make me savory food such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esau his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt game and to bring it. So Rebekah spoke to Jacob her son, saying, Indeed, I heard your father speak to Esau your brother, saying, Bring me game and make savory food for me, that I may eat it and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to what I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me from there 2 choice kids of the goats, and I will make savory food from them for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall take it to your father, that he may eat it, and that he may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Look, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be a deceiver to him, and I shall bring a curse on myself and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son, only obey my voice and go, get them for me. And he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory food such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the choice clothes of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Then she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So he went to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit, and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me. But Isaac said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord your God brought it to me. Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob went near to Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. Then he said, Are you really my son Esau? He said, I am. He said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's game, so that my soul may bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, Come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near him and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his clothing and blessed him and said, Surely the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Therefore may God give you of the dew of heavens, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you. And so then it goes on to Esau coming in and revealing that Jacob had deceived his father, and that Jacob stole the blessing. And basically, that just means he took the power from Esau. He took, what was going to be Esau's from Isaac. And now it's Jacob's. And back then, people meant what they said. So even though Jacob deceived Isaac, Isaac stuck to his guns, and he said, that happened for a reason. So he gave the blessing to Jacob. And that goes back to Jacob and the meaning of the name Jacob, which is trickster. And it shows that, in that part of his life, he was a trickster. And he did what he needed to do to get what he wanted. And even though, that's deceptive, that's not good. God, I had to write some notes down. God takes our poor choices and turns them for good. And God made sure that Jacob got the blessing through this story, because he knew that Jacob was going to serve him and do his purpose and do his work, while Esau may not have. Who knows what Esau's motives might have been. Earlier on in the Bible, there's a portion where Esau was more concerned with being starving than his own birthright, I think it was. And so Jacob was like, hey, I'll give you, this food if you give me your birthright. And so Esau's like, yeah, whatever. And so God maybe saw how quick Esau was to give up something like that, and he didn't want to build all of Israel based off of Esau. And so God took Jacob's choice and used it for good. And Jacob still went through a lot of hardship in his life because of that deception. So just because, God's going to bless you ultimately does not mean he won't make you own up for mistakes that you've made and choices that you've made, because we all have free will. But yeah, ultimately God will take your mistakes and your past life, anything that you've done, and turn it for the good. And ultimately, Jacob has to flee after Isaac passes away because he's afraid of Esau. He thinks Esau's going to come after him and get him and, kill him and take back his birthright. And Esau was fired up about it, so he probably would have, who knows. But Jacob ran away and he built his own family. He had lots of kids. He had lots of animals. He basically built his own city. And then he was on his way back to Esau because he knew that God had promised him that land. So on his way back there, we'll go back to the Bible now. And what part was it? Genesis 32, 22 to 28. Yes, okay. So he's on his way back because God told him to go back. That's his land. He wants him to go back. So it says, Jacob arose that night and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. He took them, sent them over the brook, and sent over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go now, for the day breaks. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. So he said to him, What is your name? He said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked, saying, Tell me your name, I pray. And he said, Why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Just as he crossed over Peniel, the sun rose on him, and he limped on his hip. So that's the part where, we go back to this day in the Daniel fast, and it's talking about the name. And Jesus's name is powerful. And it's talking about Jacob's name. Jacob means trickster. But here, Jacob's listening to God. He's doing what God is asking him to do. And he literally wrestles with this man. And, it doesn't ever really say right here, but he believed that he was wrestling with God. And this man said, You shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. And so Israel means straightened by God. And so Jacob's listening to God. He's following his orders. He's doing what he asked. Even though he does not want to go back and see Esau, he's terrified. He's doing it because God's telling him to. And yes, he ends up wrestling with God, literally wrestling. And this happens in people's lives as they're growing and going through things. They're wrestling with God. They're angry. They're upset. They, get mad and blame God for things. So here it shows Jacob's wrestling with him. And if you prevail, if you, end up giving it to God and letting him get you through that struggle, then he will give you a new name and he'll give you a new identity, and you'll be able to feel it. You'll feel ultimately powerful and knowledgeable and fulfilled. It's really just truly a fulfillment. And it's something that I wasn't ever able to experience until I gave my life to God and I became a true believer. So yeah, I feel like that was about it. But yeah, it's just about giving your life to God. And there's so many people who believe in Jesus, and you know, they believe he died on the cross for our sin, and they believe everything that you're supposed to believe. But the ultimate is to give your life to God and to ask him to take over your thoughts, take over your speech, take over on, you know, things that happen in your life, and to just give it all to him. And a lot of people don't do that. And unfortunately, for people like that, you know, just because you believe in Jesus, like I said, the devil believes in Jesus, and look where he is, you know. So it's about giving your life to God, because God knows what's best for you, and that's what it comes down to. God knows what's best for you, and he wants to make you new. He wants to, you know, help you get rid of the old you and build you into who he knows you can be and who he wants you to be. And but ultimately the choice is up to you whether or not you want to do that. And I had another thought. Goodness. So anyway, I just want to challenge everybody to, you know, get out of your own head. When you're thinking, you know, you're quiet, driving by yourself, whatever, have some quiet time when you're thinking. Just pray to God, you know, start praying instead of just thinking, because thinking is just you, circle, circle, circle. You know, your thought process is very limited when it's just you thinking. But when you pray and open your heart and your soul to God, he will speak to you. And for me, it comes in a way that's kind of like thoughts, but I just know it's not me. I would not come up with those thoughts on my own, or like things to say on my own. For example, when Kendall and I fight, you know, I just take a breath and I just pray. And even though I want to say so many things to just win, God sometimes tells me to just be still and be quiet. And then he gives me the words and leads me through that. And I thank him for it, because who knows, you know, what things would look like in my life if I didn't do that, if I didn't take that step back and ask God to speak for me. I do know things would be a lot harder in this life. And trying to get through that on my own, I don't even know. I don't even want to like think about where I would be. But yeah, if you've never done that before, I just encourage you to do that. Just start praying. Don't think, pray. That's the ultimate advice that I could give anybody. And yeah, if you don't know how to, then just think thoughts to God, basically. So, you know, see God in everything that you do, see God in everything that you see, and it will make it a lot easier. But yeah, like I said before, I would love to pray with you, pray for you. Just reach out any way that you can. And so the prayer on this to close says, Father God, I praise you. My mind cannot fathom the depths of your love. Thank you for sending Jesus for me so I can be a part of your family and live with you for eternity. So yeah, I just thank God every day for creating a new me. And I pray to God that he does the same for you guys. I'm praying for my family, that they see this and that they choose the same, and that they believe that they could be made anew. Even though you guys are perfect to me, I just want you to ultimately experience that greater love and know that, you know, Jesus died for you. Who knows? Who can all say that? I don't know. But yeah, I love everybody. Thank you. And just praying for you. God bless you.